So today, it's the beginning of the year. It's 2025, which is a 9-year. And the 9-year is all about beginning to let go of anything that isn't serving you and to start thinking about the things that you want to do in your future that will serve you. And as part of that, as we think about what is it that would serve us, what is it that I would like to be able to create in my life? And so I thought it'd be appropriate to talk about the law of attraction. And when we talk about the law of attraction in today's world, it's a little different from when the law of attraction movie came out and all the, shall I say, the chatter about the law of attraction and how to attract things and how to bring things into your life. And that was sort of the beginning of helping people understand, what does it mean to attract, or what does it mean to manifest? And it's kind of an easy thing to say, oh, well, I'll just manifest this, or I will attract this. But it's not quite as easy as that. It can be easy, but there's different components that come with the law of attraction. And so I thought it would be appropriate to kind of walk through first, how is it truly defined? And then how do you integrate that? And then how do you apply that into your life? And how do you get to a point to where you feel what the law of attraction is? Because the law of attraction is actually aligning your energy with the energy of the universe. And that is the part that wasn't necessarily introduced or discussed or really put out there in the world when people started getting excited about, oh, the law of attraction and I can attract anything. And in reality, yes, you can attract anything. But first, we want to talk about, what is it that we're already attracting? What is it that you attract into your life every single day? Because you are manifestors. All of us are manifestors. And all of us are attracting things right now, today. We're attracting things. I attracted individuals into Soul Sunday today. And, the question is that did I deliberately attract that, or is it the steps that I took that created that? So there's an inner energy of attraction, and then there's the outer energy of attraction. So if we really want to start talking about the law of attraction, let's take a look at what the definition is. And if I just go to sort of the academic definition, it states basically that like attracts like. And your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs are basically a magnet. And we've discussed in the past that your thoughts can lead to feelings, your feelings can lead to actions, and your actions can lead to results. And so it's also about attracting. When it says like attracting light, what it means is that it's attracting whatever energy you have, whatever energy that you have within, and it's attracting that same energy to you. So if you change your energy, then you can attract something different. And the real core principle of the law of attraction is that everything is energy, and that our thoughts really are important in terms of how we think, because those thoughts do lead us to beginning to feel a certain way. And so we go, well, that sounds really easy. I can do that. I'll just stay positive and I'll attract positivity, and I'll think about things that I want to bring into my life, and they'll just come right in. But there's a lot more going on in our mind, in our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, than we realize. And a lot of that comes from, we like to say, from programming. And programming meaning that we grow up in various circumstances in our life, and it sort of forms the way we think, it forms our perception of the world, and it begins to frame out the person that we are. And so what happens is positive energy attracts positive situations in terms of you perceiving that that's positive in your life. And then negative energy attracts challenges. Now, there's a theory, and I've heard this once, that we're pure energy and that we are truly just pure energy. We're a child, we're an energetic being, we're a child of the energetic world, and that everything is perfect in our world, everything, that life is perfect, and that we can have anything and everything that we choose. And there's this theory that because we have moved into human form, that we literally create situations to give us the feeling and the opportunity to feel and to experience things as a human. Hence the term that says we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we ourselves attract experiences to validate the energy of the spirit that we are. So when you get into the science of it, when you get into quantum physics, it's about how your focused thoughts can influence the things that happen in your life and the outcomes in your life. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that I've had situations where I've been very conscious of what I attracted in my life, and then I've been very unconscious about what I've attracted in my life. And I've actually gotten to places where I could feel the difference between manifesting or attracting a positive situation versus a negative situation. And so we ask ourselves, why does the law of attraction matter? Who cares? Why does it matter? I mean, we should be able to just create the life that we want, no matter what. Well, again, it goes back to your mind is your creator of your reality. And when you master your thoughts and you align those thoughts with a feeling, then you're on the path to beginning to create things in your life that you'd like to create. So what would the benefits be? The benefits of aligning that energy is that you could achieve your goals faster. And it means that first you have to set goals because you want to be clear about what you want. Secondly, you can cultivate a much stronger emotional well-being and also be stronger about understanding when challenges do happen in your life. And thirdly, you can manifest abundance. You can start to learn how to manifest abundance in your relationship, your career, your health, your finances. You can literally start to see where you can create a difference in those areas. And then, I mean, just think about a time when you had, let's say, a negative mindset and you just thought negatively about it all the time. And when you did, it literally was bringing in more negative energy. Or think about a time when you were really positive, and that's an energy that just, to me, feels like freedom. Because when you're very, very positive about something, it feels big, it feels expansive. When you're feeling negative about something, it feels small, it feels heavy. It feels as though it's really pushing you down. So when you get into the law of attraction, you can actually start to balance what's negative versus positive. Welcome, come on in. Have a seat. Glad to have you here today. We are talking about the law of attraction and what it really is and how does it work and how can you benefit from it. And so with the beginning of the new year, I thought it was appropriate to really get into what does it mean to have negative thoughts and energy versus positive thoughts and energy. And we were just talking about, like, what are some of the benefits of learning to work with positive versus negative energy. And I'll just go over these again. One of the benefits is that you can achieve goals faster if you set a goal. And goals can be as simple as something that is just something you might even want to do in 1 hour or in 1 moment. Or it could be a goal that you set for a day, or a goal for a week, or something that you want to accomplish in a month, or 2 months, or 3 months, or even in a year. Sometimes we look ahead, especially this time of the year in January. We start to look ahead. People make resolutions. And how many people really stick to those resolutions? You know, there's now a whole theory that I think only like 5% of people who set New Year's resolutions really only accomplish them. And then what is it that keeps others from setting those resolutions and accomplish them is because they probably don't believe that it's going to happen. So they lose their positive focus and their positive energy on that resolution. Or something negative comes in and kind of dissolves that positive thought. The other benefit is that you can cultivate a stronger emotional well-being by really understanding how to align your energy with the energy of the universe. And then another benefit is that once you understand how to shift your thoughts, your relationships will improve, your health can improve, your finances could improve, your career, or anything that you've really set forth that you want to achieve. I know that I've had some thoughts and desires of one room in my house that I'd like to transform. And I keep thinking, wow, here's all the things that I would like to do. And so I've sat down and I've thought about the color that I'd like to repaint the room, and would I want to change the drapes, and would I want to change other things, and what would I want it to look like. And I have this whole vision in my head. But what I also realize is that I have to take action. I have to take action. I can sit all day and look in this room and go, gee, I wish it was this color that, a color that really made me feel good. And gee, maybe I need to move those bookshelves. But the point is, you have to take action. You have to first have that plan. And then you say, okay, well, what's the first step? And then you have to think positively about it. Because what I actually have done is I do sit in this room, which is my family room, and I do sit in there and I look around and I close my eyes sometimes and I think, okay, I want to feel what would it be like to be sitting in the perfect room of what my vision is, of how I'd like to transform it and bring an energy into this room that is supporting me and my family in feeling very grounded. I have this idea of this Zen space and all this energy. But again, it's first imagining what it is and then feeling, knowing and feeling what that feeling is like, and then taking action. And that's usually where people stumble, is that they don't take the action, or they don't keep taking the actions. And as I said earlier, think about a time when you focused on positive thoughts a lot and how it made you feel. And then when you focus on negative thoughts, how that makes you feel. And there is a difference, a big difference. I know someone that is in a situation where they want to be able to get a home for their family, and they want their children to be able to stay in the same schools that they're in because their children are doing really well. And yet they're in a situation right now where they're actually living with someone else. And the thought that keeps coming from them is that we'll never get a house. We'll never be able to stay in this area. We don't have enough money. Our credit isn't good. It's just, there's no way out. We're just stuck. And when you think about that, both of the individuals in that family are extremely talented. Both of those individuals have other skills and talents that they could access if they wanted to. And maybe even sitting down and putting together a plan might help them access a way, or an additional job, or even just their own side job that they could start to bring in additional money. And then they could put that money in a savings account. It may not be a lot, but it would start to add up. Even $5 a week adds up over time. And so the thought process of these individuals is that we're never going to get out of this. Well, guess what? As long as you say that all day long, guess what? You don't get out of it. You stay stuck. And you can't see what the possibility is. And so I think that, again, when we talk about the law of attraction, it starts with your thoughts. It starts with how you're thinking. And it starts with your ability to be able to be positive and to step more into a positive space in your life. So let's talk about what the steps could be to really looking at, I want to attract something in my life. So first, you want to be really clear. What is it that you want? And then secondly, you want to use positive language around that. So let's just take an example of, let's just use health. Because sometimes that's a subject that everybody talks about, manifesting something material. But let's talk about health. Let's talk about how could we step into a more positive space of improving health or addressing something that's health-wise or dealing with something around that. So first you want to be clear. What is it? And I'll use myself as an example. It's like, right now, I'm having a lot of issues with arthritis, and I get these frozen fingers sometimes, and they aren't working very well, and it's painful. And so, what do? I go, I'm thinking almost negatively about my fingers that are in pain, and I'm not thinking positively, because first I should get clear. What is it that I could do to help make this better? Is there something I could do? Is it a matter of changing foods? Is it a matter of maybe doing research, learning more about what's the impact of this? What could I do to make it better? If I have pain, not only in my finger, but in my arm, yes, the pain doesn't feel very good, but yet, are there other things that I can start to think about? What can I do to relieve the pain? And then sometimes, and this is maybe an unusual step, I literally sometimes lay my arm and I give in to the pain. I literally give into it. And I say, all right, I'm going to be with the pain. I'm going to align my energy with this pain. And when I do, it's amazing. Sometimes very positive things happen. It stops. Doesn't mean that my finger still isn't stiff from the arthritis, but it means that the pain starts to dissolve itself because I'm thinking positively about this physical health condition. And, sometimes if you have symptoms of something health-wise, usually the first thing is, if we consider it serious, we go to a doctor. We get an analysis, or we do research, or we start to understand what it is. And that is the first step to being able to manifesting more positive situations. So it's important to be clear. Secondly, it's very important to believe that you can make an impact, that you can shift the way you think. You have to trust that what you're working on, that you can actually create. You literally have to believe that I can make this happen. Because sometimes people set goals, like maybe we're in an intention workshop and someone's writing a goal of the amount of money they want to bring into their life, and they put down a number and then they go, oh, that'll never work. Well, they've already started canceling it out. And we even say sometimes, cancel. Don't think that. If you're thinking that now, cancel that out. And what's also important is to, and this is to me, this is a big step. The first big step is be aware of how you talk about yourself. Be aware of what you say about yourself. It's your self-talk and then also your self-feelings. So if you're constantly saying to yourself, oh gosh, I'm such a dummy, I forgot to do that, or this will never happen for me, that is self-talk. And if you say that over and over and over, you are manifesting. You're manifesting negative energy, negative thoughts about yourself. I can't lose this weight. I can't stop my arm from hurting. I can't overcome this feeling of depression. Well, the first step is to be clear that you can overcome it, and is to think positively about yourself and about the energy around you. And then what you want to be able to do is to open your arms and actually say, you know what, I'll receive the energy, I'll receive the good that comes, and I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to let the universe or a greater power bring to me what I've put out there into the universe. And that's trust. That's trusting it, and that's understanding that when even little bits and pieces of that start to come your way, it's time to be grateful. It's time to say, someone might put out there, oh, I want to manifest $10,000, but they might get a $1,000 check in the mail. Well, be grateful for that, because that might be the first check of 10 more. And the more grateful you are, the more your energy aligns with the goal that you put out there. And so again, I can't stress enough that once you start becoming aware of how you talk about yourself, how you feel about yourself, the actions that you take, once you understand what you're saying, doing, and feeling, you can shift that. You can change that. And we all have different levels of what we want to create in our life. Some people, they're not interested in millions of dollars, and they want to just create a certain level of what they believe fills their needs. And that's okay. We don't all have the same goals. We don't all have the same intentions. But one thing that I do know in all of my research and my studies and my learnings and trainings over the last 30 plus years is that we will attract what is meant to be in our life, the positive things. And that it's extremely important to recognize that, honestly, it's unlimited. It really is unlimited for us. And we're the ones that set the ceilings or the caps on the things that we want to bring in our life. And some people may say, this is all I want. And that's fine. That's what they'll get if they're truly open to aligning themselves to that energy. I knew a person once that said, all I want to do is travel the world. I don't need to be a millionaire. I don't need to have a lot of money. I don't need to have a house. I just want to be able to travel the world, and when I go from city to city or country to country, that I'm able to stop long enough to create enough money to get me to the next city or the next country, because my true goal in life is to explore the world. And I don't have to be a wealthy person to explore the world. And that person did it. And they're still exploring the world. And they're still moving from city to city and country to country and loving their life. And that's the life that they wanted to live. So we can create the things that we desire in our lives. And first, we have to get clear, how do we want our life to look? Because I think a lot of times we create our life thinking we want it to look like somebody else's. And I've learned a long time ago that even spirituality, there's no set of rules on what spirituality is and what you should look like or how you should act or how you should be. It's pretty much what you decide that it looks like. Yes, there's some what we call laws of the universe. If we follow those laws, those will help us be the person that we want to be. But there's no set rules of what being spiritual really means. For me, it's about aligning with a greater power. To me, if I can align my inner power with a greater power, then I can do anything. And then I can create the life that I choose or the life that I want. Because now I know I'm in the flow. And being in the flow is when you're working on what we call developing your manifesting process, whatever that is what happens is you are literally being guided step by step because you've created maybe one goal in your life, and now you know what that feels like, and you can repeat that, and you can repeat that energy. I think the biggest thing that stands in the way of manifesting is patience, is not having the patience. Is that I want it now. Well, maybe it's not coming now, or it may not come quite in the way that you want something to happen. It may come later rather than sooner. But if you believe it's coming, it'll come. If you believe that. So what are some of the things that you could do in practicing what I call the law of attraction? And really for me, I like to even call it the law of manifesting and aligning your energy with universal energy. Because once you do that, you do get in the flow, and the universe does start to bring the things that you've put out into the world. So one of the tools that can help that you could start with is visualization. And that's really creating the mental images of what you want your outcome. Like me sitting in my family room, wanting my room to look a certain way. So I'm visualizing. And then another way is, we do this often, a lot of people do this often, is they create a vision board. And a vision board can be very powerful. And it also gives you the opportunity to use your energy to seek out images and words and goals and things and put them down visually on a board or on a cork board or on your wall. A vision board doesn't have to be just one small board. I know a woman in Australia that has an entire wall that she pins everything up that she wants to manifest on this wall, and she keeps it up. And when something happens that she put up on the wall that she was like, oh, this happened, she puts a little note and said, it happened. And she's got it happens all over the wall. But she puts everything up there. She puts tickets, she puts letters, she puts pictures, she writes words, she does all kinds of beautiful things. And she claims that board has brought her so many wonderful opportunities in her life because she believes in all the things that she put up. I know I had a client once, and I've laughed about this for a long time. I suggested she do a vision board. She was working on relationship. She wanted to get married. She said, I want to get married, and I want the perfect mate. And I said, okay, I think you should do a vision board on this. Put down what you think would be good for you. So the next week when I went to meet with her, she had her vision board, and on her vision board, she had a diamond ring. It was a big diamond ring. It was like a 5-carat, 6-carat diamond ring. That's the only thing she had in the center of that board. And I said, wow, that's an interesting vision board. And she says, the man that can afford this ring will be the man of my dreams. And I want to tell you, 6 months later, she got married. She met the man of her dreams. He had just sold his business, and he had said they met each other. They both loved to play golf. They were both professional individuals. She had just retired. He had just sold his business. They bought one of those mega RVs, and they got together, got married, and they have been traveling now for 10 years in their RV to every golf course in America. And they literally go everywhere, and they stop at the golf resorts, and they play golf, and they've met friends, and they meet the same friends at the same time every year, and she is living her life the way she wanted to live it. And so I saw the power of that. And she was determined because she believed it 100%. So I call that manifesting. I call that great manifesting. So visualization is good. Affirmations. Now, a lot of people, say, oh, affirmations don't work. Well, affirmations don't work just by themselves because you sort of have to combine them with other things. If you're going to repeat something about yourself or an affirmation, it's important to believe it. And if you don't believe something, then rephrase it or rework it so you can believe it. And affirmations can be, they can be the first step to teaching you positive language about yourself. There was an exercise once that I had in a class, and we had to write, I think it was 50 times, positive things about yourself. And I was shocked at the number of people that couldn't write 50 things. And they had a hard time. They struggled with it. And they didn't realize that you could just write simple things about yourself, like, I brush my teeth really well. That's a simple thing. It's positive. And yet they were looking for the big things. Well, I've got to have big things about myself. No, it starts with the little things. It's the little things about yourself that you should tell yourself, and that accumulates into the big things. And that's how you can start with positive affirmations. Is someone might say, oh, well, I am a wealthy person. Well, yes, you are. But in their mind, they're thinking money. But in my mind, I might be thinking family. I might be thinking health. I might be thinking something else. But again, it's how you think about yourself. Another way to help build your law of manifestation and attraction is meditation. And I know meditation is hard for some people. I personally like guided meditations. I personally like someone to lead me in a meditation. That way my monkey mind doesn't get in the way, because the monkey mind will get you. So I do download a lot of guided meditations where they're just telling me what to do. Think of this, do that, feel this, clear your chakras. And the more that I listen to those types of meditations, the more I can get into those meditations and I can align with it. And then also journaling. Journaling is a great way. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't like to write, I don't like to journal. But I will say that even if you're not a regular journal person, it is good sometimes just to sit down and write out your thoughts and feelings, because you really don't realize at that time you are removing energy, emotional energy, and you're putting it on paper. And you're actually releasing it, whether you realize it or not. It's a therapeutic process. And sometimes just you even journal like, I can't figure out why I can't manifest anything. And sometimes it just starts with your thoughts. And then those thoughts will lead you to feelings. And then those feelings will lead you to some emotions. And those emotions can help you clear what's going on. I know many times I've sat down to write things that I wanted to work through, and I become emotional. However, I realized that was what was needed, because it helps me clear something that's keeping me stuck. And one of the more powerful ways to enhance your abilities of creating is to step into positive thoughts, is to put yourself in positive thinking, positive energy, positive being around positive people. Have you ever been around a lot of negative people? You're like, maybe you work in an environment, but everyone around you is negative. How does it make you feel? Oh, it makes you feel like this. Like, oh my gosh, just get me away from these people. And that's really what you should do, is get yourself away from them, because that negative energy surrounds you, and you have to work twice as hard to be able to push yourself out of that negative energy into a positive place. So the goal is to surround yourself with positive people. And if you can't surround yourself with positive people, then the goal is to influence them as much as you can and not allow their self-talk or their negativity or their actions to impact you. Is that, hey, I'm setting a boundary. This isn't appropriate. I'm not listening to this. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to put up with this. This is a way to start to push negative energy out of your boundaries so that you can raise your positive energy. So what are some of the things that are going to happen when you get challenged? So as you start to think about, okay, I'd like to create this in my life. And when I say create, it's also about setting a goal. Setting a goal is actually telling yourself you want to make something happen. But then all these negative things start to occur. So what are some of those things? Well, the first thing is you may start having what I say negative thoughts. So part of that would be start working on becoming aware of when you have negative thoughts. You know, there's a lot of experiments that have been done to try to help people just literally eliminate negative thoughts or to at least put them where they belong. And I know one person suggested they wore a rubber band. And every time they had a negative thought, they were supposed to pop the rubber band on their wrist so that it would sting a little bit. And that's what we call anchoring. And what it was doing was reminding them, don't think that way. You know, it's like just be aware of what you're thinking. And that's one way to begin to work on negative thinking. Second, impatience. Boy, impatience steps in and it's like, oh, I've got to manifest money right now. I've got to pay that bill. Oh, I got to have it today. It's got to happen. Well, yes, maybe it is something that you need today, but it may not be in what we call the universal timing. And so what I know and what I've experienced is that when you're patient with the things that you need in the moment that you need them, they show up. They'll show up unexpectedly. And you have to trust the timing of the universe. And that's probably the hardest. It's been the hardest part for me, is to trust the universe. The next part is your own self-doubt. Again, doubting that you'll ever be able to make whatever it is that you want to create happen. Well, I don't know if I can do it. Can I do it? Should I do it? You have to really trust yourself and trust your intuition. Intuition is an inner wisdom, and it can help you jump over some of this self-doubt. And then the last piece that kind of flows into us when we're moving beyond the challenges is we get confused and we have lack of clarity. Like, well, I don't know. Do I really want this? Would I rather have this? Or maybe I want this. Again, it's about being clear. And also about clearing clutter out from around you. And I know that clutter can impact your energy, and it's often said that clutter represents whatever's going on outside of you is going on inside of you. If there's a lot of clutter around you, and I have to say I'm one of the worst. I mean, I'm a creative person, and I'm one of those people, I used to say to people, yeah, I have a lot of stacks of papers all over my desk, but I know where everything is. But again, wouldn't it be nice, because my next thought was, wouldn't it be nice so if I had all those filed away and my desk was clear, what would I do? So the point is that you want to be able to be very clear, but in order to be clear, you have to clear the clutter out of your head and out of your environment. We know that when you clear, like a lot of women have said, when I clean out my closet and I donate a lot of things or I get rid of a lot of things, all of a sudden I find that I start filling it back up. I start bringing in, manifesting new clothes, new things. It's the law of energy. It's that you're pushing anything that you felt cluttered out. It makes space for new things to come in. So the real life application of the law of attraction applies in several areas of our life. It's in relationships. It's in career. it's in health, it's in finances. And really what this is about today is that where is it in your life that you want to really start thinking about, what could I bring into my life? It might be something around your health. It might be something around your relationship. It could be a career goal or idea. It could be, it could be a new job, or it could be maybe I'll start my own business, or maybe I'll do something creative. Maybe I will take the time to love myself. I want to spend more time. I want more self-care. We can manifest more self-care. And that does start with us. And then also, when it comes to finances, it's about really understanding what is important to me. Because sometimes when you address one area of your life and you're working on that in a positive way, it brings positive opportunities to other areas of your life. I call that the linchpin. When you get clear about the main and the one thing that you want to do, the energy vibrates into the other areas of your life, and it creates positive happenings, positive situations. So what are some things that you could do, let's just say starting today, as you step into 2025, that maybe could get you on the path to begin to bring in things that you would like to create in your life? Because we're humans, and that's what we like to do. We do like to create things in our life. Because if we're not creating and growing, we're dying. We're just sitting and waiting. And it doesn't matter. It can be something big. It can be something simple. But here's some suggestions. It's not to suggest that you have to do these things, because as I said earlier, how you structure your life, your spiritual life, your daily routines is what works for you. But an example would be let's just say a morning ritual. Maybe you do a brief little meditation. Maybe you have affirmations that you speak, or maybe you have one on your bathroom mirror that when you get up every morning, if you're looking in the mirror, washing your face, brushing your teeth, you've got that one affirmation that you're going to focus on every single day. And you repeat it, you look at it, you repeat it, and then you move on. You could journal. That's another thing. You could pour yourself a cup of tea or coffee first thing in the morning and sit in stillness for a few minutes. Just sit and just listen. And let your mind bring to you thoughts. I know one of my morning rituals is every morning, the first thing I do is I get my coffee, I sit down, and I draw a tarot card or an affirmation card, sometimes one, sometimes two or three, and I look at the messages on those cards, and then I ask myself, how does this apply to my day today? What should I expect? What's going to come up? What could be, and I may have thoughts in my mind, like I might even ask a question, like, should I teach this class in this month or not? And sometimes when I pull those cards, it gives me an exact answer, like yes or no. Because then I know what the answer is. So that's a great way, is to start with some kind of a morning ritual. Journaling is great. That's another option. Also, just reflecting. Whether you're reflecting in the morning, you may want to just get up and sit for a minute and kind of reflect, like, well, what went on yesterday and what's going to happen today, or what do I want to create? I also like the idea of setting one goal for a day, just one goal. Something very simple that you know you can accomplish, so that when you accomplish it, you can go, yes, I accomplished that goal. And it can be very simple. I mean, it could be like, I'm just going to straighten out this desktop right here. Or I'm going to make sure that I make my bed every day, or something like that. It could be something very simple. But when you set a goal and you achieve it, it brings a certain kind of energy that will then cause you to achieve bigger goals. So if you can step into one goal a day and then acknowledge yourself at the end of the day or at the time that you achieve the goal, you will be successful. because you were successful with that one small goal that you set. And again, small goals lead to big goals being accomplished when you accomplish them. The other piece is that to stay present. And that's really being mindful, being present in what you're doing when you're doing it. I've said this often as a speaker. When I was younger, I would get up and do these speeches when I was in high school, and I would sit down and I would have no clue what I said. I was like, what did I say? I know I gave this speech, but what did I really say? I was not present. I did not know exactly what words were coming out of my mouth because I was so nervous. I was just repeating something I'd memorized. And then as I began to speak more and more, I learned to be very present about what I was saying and how that can take me to the next thought that I'm present about. So when we look at learning about the law of attraction, I encourage you, do some research. Look it up. Look up examples of people who have attracted things in their life or created things. Or have conversations with friends or family like, tell me about the time that you wanted to achieve a goal or you wanted to make this happen. What did you do? How did you do it? I'd like to know. I'd like to learn. And then ask yourself, what's really important to you right now? Based on the way that things are working everywhere, like in the world, in our life, in our communities, in our families, with ourselves, what is it that's most important right now? What is the one thing that you'd like to accomplish this year? Because once we end this 9-year, and all of us are in the energy of the world 9-year energy. And we also have our personal cycles and our personal years. But as you're in the 9-year energy of the world, in 2026, we'll be stepping into a whole new cycle of the universe. And the 1 year in 2026 will be all about creativity, new beginnings. And that's going to bring great energy to all of us. And so this year is a great year for you to really think about what is it that I'd like to stop doing that I've been doing in my life, and what is it that I'd like to start doing in my life starting today. So I encourage all of you, really take a hard look at that and then say, how could I apply the law of attraction to those things that I want to start doing in this year, and create anything that I've been desiring that I haven't created before, and see what happens with that. Because I know right now the universe is here to serve you, and the universe is definitely serving those who are aligning their energy with the energy of the universe. So there you have it. That's the law of attraction.